John Sanders here on a Tuesday. We're not normally going on Tuesday, but now we are. So we're going every day of the week. At least we're going to try to do the weekends. But Monday through Friday should definitely be like in here in the studio. But on Saturdays and Sundays, I'm still trying to figure that out. But we're definitely going this Tuesday. So welcome one and all. Let's get started with the quote of the day. All right. The quote of the day is know your opponent. All right. This reminds me of a kind of like the opposite quote that I always heard. It was like know your personnel, and it's like know who's on your team. Like we even have that quote, know your personnel. Like know who's on your team, know what they're capable of. Don't throw them passes that they can't catch. Like don't put them in positions where they can't dribble the ball because they aren't a ball handler. Just know who you have, right? But know your opponent might even be like more important, actually. I don't know, about the same. But knowing your opponent is huge. And I would say I remember high school, they being my stepdad, who's my coach, try to get me to watch game film, and I never did. One of my weaknesses, I guess, but I watched a ton of it in college, though. And they would give us scouting reports in college as well. They would tell us, like, what hand they like to go with, like what moves they did, what plays they did, what their play calls were. And while many players in college, D1 too, didn't really listen, I think about at least like four of us on the team really paid attention. And we could recite the stuff, and we would go over the stuff, right? We would help the players who were good enough to play but not smart enough to understand all the stuff. We would help them out during the games. We would force people like their weak way. We would force them against their play. We would try to jump a pass because we knew their play. All right, and knowing your opponent in such a way, dude, it makes everything way easier. I would say I was probably one of the worst. No, okay, I wasn't that bad. I was a pretty bad defender in high school. I remember thinking I'm a bad defender. I just thought that was what it was. I know I could block people's shots. I could steal the ball when they threw it somewhere because I was long and stuff. But guarding someone, nah, that wasn't what I did. I sat in the middle of the court. You guarded people and you sent them to me, and I blocked their shot. And then I get off to college, and they're like, John, you're going to be one of our best defenders. You're going to guard the best player on the other team. And I was like, yo, homie, that's not me. But then they said, oh, no, this guy always does this. And I remember one of them being it was something so ridiculous. It was I swear to you, this is not me exaggerating, making up nothing. They said he's going to dribble twice with his left hand and then cross over to his right. Every time he dribbles twice with his left hand, he's going to cross over to his right. And I'm like, you mean you saw him do that a few times? It's not going to always be like that. Sure enough, for the game, that dude would be like, and then just go. I'm like, what? They know that you do this thing. I would be just waiting over there, and he would come right to me, and I'm like, whoa, this is strange. Right? And if you know your opponent to that level, it makes the game super easy. But also knowing him to the level of the mentality of the player, what their weaknesses are there. I love players that give me attitude if I hit them. If I nudge them or something like that, or I'll bump into them. If I can sense that they're mad about that, I'm like, this is the guy. This is the guy I'm gonna pick on today, and I will. All right, and I'll tell you, and that's how you get me to pick on you more and more and more. Call me a 3-year-old if you want to, but basically, or a third grader. If you react, I'm gonna act up more. If you ignore me, I'm gonna leave you alone. If I hit you and you don't do anything, I'll be like, oh, leave him alone. If I hit you and you say something, I'll be like, I got to hit this guy over and over and over and over and over again, right? So I like that quote of the day, all right? Know your opponent, all right? So make sure that you know your opponent, all right? Things that we're going to be talking about, not that. We're not doing this one today. Make that disappear, all right? That was yesterday with the quick shots. Can it disappear? There you go. All right. But today we got, or in the future we would have had drives and rotations, 180 tangent for shots, down screen, screen away, 3 for layup, and shot, 10 seconds tie game, 10 plus seconds down by 3 with free throws. In the past, we did one-on-one cutthroat, into the play scenario, double post on the dribble, outlet pass, back to sideline, miss free throw on purpose, and then 10 plus seconds down by 3 with free throws. Today, if we had team practice, which we are not until the new year, we would have spin move series 2-on-2 with triangle, force post middle, poly pyramid 0 to 3 seconds up by 3, and 10 plus seconds down by 3 with free throws. One thing that I want to talk about for this one, let me think. What do I want to talk about for this one? I want to talk about let's go with forcing the post to the middle. All right. So if we're trying to force the post to the middle of the court. All right. So here's our court right here. Do I have a half court? Oh, those are just lines. It doesn't matter. All right. But if we're down here and we have a big post player, we'll call him number 5 right here. Okay. And he has the ball. All right, and everyone else is lined up accordingly. Like, let's say that this guy's there, that guy's there, and this guy is here who passed it down to him. All right, as you guys are guarding your men, where do we want to force this guy? So here's where all the defenders are. All right, and here's where our ball is. All right, if this guy right here goes to the baseline, we're in trouble. Right here, if he goes to the middle, this guy might help. But we're not going to be playing defense like this, right? We don't guard this guy way out here, right? This guy right here, he would be at least like right there. If not like inching out, maybe if he's a three-point shooter, but about right there. This guy as well will be right here. So now we can ultimately help out, all right? So now even if he comes right here, like that, and this guy does cover down, this guy's right there to maybe steal that pass, maybe to at least defend it, and this guy has both of those guys on the outside, right? So he's not going to even want to come to the middle. But let's see what happens if he goes to the baseline. If he goes to the baseline, well, now it's like, okay, well, who can help? This guy at the last second, I suppose, all right? But I mean, the guy's like point blank. He's like right there. All right? It's a hard help. And if his man happens to like cut back door at that time or was already right here, that's an easy pass. And that's actually a hard cover down because we were just right here a second ago. When he's right there, we don't want anyone committing. All right? So unlike a drive where they start from out here and start to drive, we have a lot of time to react. Right now, he's already here on the post. So we don't have time to help side and cover down. All right, he's going to see that way too fast. So what you want to do is, if he's on the outside, we do want to force him to the baseline. But if he's on the inside right here, we want to force him to the middle. And I don't mean overforce. I don't mean just like let him just like go for a layup. I want him to like have some resistance and you just slide your feet, but he's not going to the baseline no matter what. All right, you force him to the middle if it's a post player. And then we can kind of show down like that with this guy, not really with the baseline side guy, because this is a lot. And then you just want to just you want to just chest up. All right, what's up, Kieran and Declan Louth? I see you in the comment section. If you're here, check in the comment section so that we know that you're here. So this is what we want to do in the post. I put a video out there of the Gremlins versus the Little Maniacs. The Lil Maniacs, spelled like Lil Wayne, Lil apostrophe. All right, and we beat the Gremlins the other day. This team destroyed the Gremlins the other day, and they said it was a bad game. So heads up for our fifth graders. I think this is a fifth grade team, but they're in the 5th and 6th grade division. So heads up, this team is coming for us. The Little Maniacs. They are pretty solid. And this guy is, I think, one of their players. He got this huge rebound, and I made the little highlight tape so you can see it on our channel. And he jumped over guy, got it, and then he threw up a hook shot. It wasn't like directly over both shoulders, but I don't know. It was pretty good. All right. So, anyways, moving on. Wanted to talk about the bubble. The bubble is back in the news. All right, because Damian Lillard brought it up, or someone brought it up to him. Because Dame, it was Dame time, as it always is, but especially in the bubble. And they asked him, like, what do you think about the bubble? And, as a Laker fan, you know where I'm going with this, right? Because we won the bubble, right? And a lot of people like to say it's a Mickey Mouse championship. Now, we know that those are just the haters that say that, right? So it was at least like a formidable championship. We know that. But I would like to argue what Damian Lillard kind of said, and he said it was probably the hardest championship to win. He says, well, first of all, everyone's on even footing, so like, whatever. But he goes, dudes have never balled out so much ever. He said in the bubble, people were on their A game because there was nothing else to do. There was nothing else to do in the bubble besides just go to the pool and ball out. And imagine that life. Imagine that life where like you didn't have to worry. Like, I mean, the hardest part to me in the bubble would have been like for the players mentality wise, would have been to be away from their kids. And I think that they were allowed to bring their kids after a while, right? So that wasn't even a thing, the family thing. Right? And a few people like try to escape the bubble to go to like to clubs and stuff like that. Those are like rare guys. They were in the bubble, they had everything given to them. It was probably like 99% of the world would not, like right now, would love to go to that bubble and be treated that way. Right? So they were living like kings. Jokic said it was easy in the bubble. A few players, Paul George, he did bad, but most of the superstars, they not only did well, they did amazing. Like Jamal Murray and Donovan Mitchell's like battle, that was insane. And I think that only happens when you get like TJ Warren and like all those guys, when you get ultimate focus. So what does that mean that they were doing the rest of the year? I mean, like, or any other years. Those guys aren't completely focused. I remember Peja Stojakovic from the Sacramento Kings. He was in the playoffs and he was playing badly because he just had a baby. And he was waking up at 3 a.m. to feed the baby. I mean, like, life is tough. But in that bubble, life was as easy as it would ever get. And you're so bored, all you have to do is play basketball. And you would think if you were a pro, oh, that's all that I would do. I would just play basketball. No, it's not. But with that said, this is why certain players are so great. This is why LeBron James and Steph Curry are so great, because their life is like a bubble, basically. And then Kobe and Michael Jordan, maybe not Michael Jordan, but Kobe, his life was like a bubble. Like that's all he did, that's all he focused on. And look at how many superstars stepped up even more. So I think the difference between the Jamal Murrays of the world and the higher players like Jokic is that level of focus, and that's their choice. And I think for you guys, it's basically the same thing. I'm not asking you to spend 12, 24 hours a day on basketball, but I am saying the more time that you do spend, the better that you will be. All right? So take all the distractions out. Take all the distractions out and minimize the peripheral stuff in your life. Like, you don't need to be going to parties and stuff like that, especially at a young age. You don't need to be like sleepovers the night before a big game and stuff like that, okay? If you can focus and focus and focus, your life will be insurmountably helped. All right? So, yes, take it from Dame. Dame said there has never been more pure basketball, basically, than in the bubble. He goes, that was like when you could see who the best of the best was. Like without any distractions, who the best of the best was. And he goes, and it was LeBron. All right. So there was that. With AD's help, of course. Let's check the homework. What's the homework like? Kieran and Declan left with the epic drill. Okay, now we're doing the epic drill. We got dribbling by Teo right there. Weston with the epic drill at nighttime. I like it. Oh, I saw Romello on the list. Romello finally doing some work. We got Romello in on this thing. I mean, how many people is that now? I mean, we got Joey, we got Mello, we got Weston, we got Declan, we got Kieran, we got Noah, we got Teo. That's 7. I thought we had one more. I don't know. That's a pretty good start though. All right, hey, that's stepping it up. Let's keep rolling. I think Weston's friend might join. They just called me up. Weston, good job with that. If you guys want to have some friends join, I can give them $100 off and then give you $100. Just let me know if you want to be on that list. I'll give you a code, and then you guys get to have your name be filled out with them, and then I'll give you $100. All right, and then they get $100 off because I do love when the friends connect. I like friends being in this program because then you guys can go through this together, have some company together, so you're not doing things alone. And this guy also says he works out with Weston all the time, so for hours at the gym. So if that's true, we need him in our program. All right, let's check the story of the day. I believe it's a good one. Let's watch this thing. It's definitely cute when young kids are shy and scared, but it becomes less cute as the child becomes an adult and their shyness grows into fears that lessen their chances to succeed. Just as you know, there isn't actually a reason the child has to fear sliding down the slide, know that your fears are relatively the same. I forgot about that part of that thing. Yes. Okay, so when you're a child, we don't have video. What is video? You can't see me. You can only hear me. You're saying? Is that what you're saying? I don't know what to. I don't know. I wouldn't even know how to fix that. Let me see. Let me know what you're talking about. You don't have video, and I'm gonna check my phone to see if you do have video. All right, let's see this thing here. That. Let's see. No, I can see myself. You have video. All right. You scared me there for a second. I was like, dude, can you not see me? All right. So you do have video. At least I have video. If you don't have video, it's your phone's problem. If you have an Android, get an iPhone. All right. But yes. Where am I? Where was I talking about? What was I talking about? Oh, yes. The story of the day. Okay. For the story of the day, it's definitely cute when young kids are shy and scared, but it becomes less cute as the child becomes an adult and their shyness grows into fears that lessen shyness grows into fear that lessens. I think I should say lessen. I don't know. Their chances to succeed. Just as you know, there isn't actually a reason for the child has to fear sliding down the slide. Know that your fears are relatively the same. You see that child crying for no reason. You see him, right? And as scary as it might be for me to talk in public or for you to like step it up in a big game when there's like free throws on the line or something like that, I don't know. Your fears are nothing, and you must learn to see them that way. Yeah, your fears 20 years from now will be laughable things. So if you can be brave enough, just don't be afraid. All right, just don't be afraid. If it's at all possible, just don't be afraid. Okay, and see it as like a childish thing, if you can, if that helps at all. All right, so don't be shy. Be scared. Don't be scared. All right, let's move on. We didn't talk about the movie of the day yesterday, but we will talk about it today. The movie of the day is this super famous movie called Raging Bull. All right, Raging Bull is with really popular director called Martin Scorsese. All right, and it's based on a novel, and it stars Robert De Niro. All right, Robert De Niro is one of the greatest actors in the history of the planet, and this is one of his best movies. And I have not seen this movie. If you look at the plot, Raging Bull is basically about boxing champ Jake LaMotta. In his 1970s memoir, Raging Bull, My Story, it follows the career of LaMotta, played by De Niro, his rise and fall in the boxing scene, and his turbulent personal life beset by rage and jealousy. All right. Again, with such a great director, such a great actor, such a great movie, I don't know why I haven't seen it, but I am starting to watch older movies. I just saw this movie called Capote. It's not that old, but like I heard so many good things about it. It was all right. But yeah, I'm gonna start watching all these movies I haven't seen. It's like I gotta see this one. But anyway, it's the 10th grade movie. If you've seen it, please do a movie report on it so we can know something about it. I can't really give it stars, but if I had to throw something out there, it's probably 45 stars. I don't really know out of 50. So if you watch this movie, let me know. It's a boxing movie. Looks kind of good. I don't even know it. It is in black and white, but like it didn't have to be in black and white. Like it's not that old of a movie. This movie was made in 1980. Yeah, they definitely had color TV in 1980. Okay, so I don't know if parts of the movie were in black and white and parts weren't. I'm not really sure about any of it, but yeah, hopefully someone out there has watched it. I know someone in the world has watched this movie, if not a lot of people, but I am not one of them. So sorry, I can't help, but yeah, that is what it is. Let's check out the trivia question of the day. Trivia question today. We got only a couple people on, so Karen is leading with 4. Caleb has 3. Noah has 2. Taylor has 1. Blake Bastani has 0. So if you know the answer to that trivia question, put it in there, and we will see who gets it right first. All right. Good luck to everyone out there. The trivia question today is this. Let me see how to word this, okay? So, this player, I'm looking for the player's name. All right, this player was named NBA Rookie of the Year his first year, and then I'm just trying to see exactly when it is. Okay, NBA Rookie of the Year, and then he and then 6 years later he won an NBA title and the Most Valuable Player award. All right, and he did all of this for the New York Knicks. Who's that guy? Who's the guy that was named Rookie of the Year for the New York Knicks Rookie of the Year? 6 years later, won an MVP and an NBA championship. So the New York Knicks haven't won that many NBA championships. I'm just throwing that out there as a hint. All right, who was this player who won Rookie of the Year 1 year? Then 6 years later, he won MVP and the NBA championship for the New York Knicks. Who's this player's name? Who is it? Who's it gonna be? Who's it gonna be? Who's gonna be the trivia champion today? I don't know. Come on, somebody. Somebody out there gotta have this answer. Somebody. Oh, man, it shouldn't be that hard. There goes the answer. It's Willis Reed. All right, great job. It's Willis Reed. Kieran gets the answer. Great job. He was the Rookie of the Year in 1964 after being a second-round pick. All right, that means everyone passed on him at least one time, including the Knicks. All right, that season he averaged 19.5 points per game and was named to the NBA Rookie of the Year. And then the Knicks won their first NBA title in 1970, and Reed earned Most Valuable Player award for the regular season. All right, and the championships and the All-Star game. He basically just dominated that year. And that was well before the shades of Willis Reed comment and things like that. All right, he was already a legend before that, but then he became an even bigger legend after that. Great job to Willis Reed. Let's talk about the last thing that we're talking about, the news for the day. We got Wemby. Is everyone ready for Wembanyama? All right, are we ready for Wembanyama? I don't even know. All right, but we're gonna find out. We've found out through this whole like Deion Sanders thing. It's so great for me to be a Deion Sanders fan. The first round was only 10 picks. Oh, is that why? How would you know that? Did you know that, or did your dad know that? That's nonsense information. That is really good information. But yes, what I found out through this Deion Sanders thing is that the world is ready to all pay attention to one thing, but you gotta give them something to pay attention to, right? I mean, we haven't had like high ratings for a lot of things because there's so many different channels, so many different like TikTok things to watch, Instagram things to watch, so many different like internet sites, right? We haven't had like all of our attention on one thing. So like the ratings compared to where they were in the 90s and the 80s and the 2000s, they're just like nowhere near because of that. But now there was just 10 million people watching that last Colorado State-Colorado game. And people were up to like 4 a.m. watching on the East Coast, which is nuts. It's crazy. Could Wembanyama be like that? I mean, we had LeBron James just 20-something years ago, and he was like that. And that even for high school, there was pay-per-view. People paid to watch his high school games, right? Is this guy going to be the next popcorn eating person to watch, where you just have to just watch this dude because he's just money? Or will it just be boring because the Spurs are losing? How will it pan out? What will it be like? Is the world ready, or is he not ready for the world? I think that's an interesting question, because I do think that the world is ripe to have everyone's eyes on one thing again. We have not had this in a while. I think it'll be extremely interesting. Declan knew that? Come on, Declan. Dang, Declan. Dude. We got some basketball knowledgeable people in that house. Seriously, even the mom, Maggie, she knows stuff. That's crazy. My mom don't know anything about basketball, at least. Anyways, so I'm ready to see them. I don't know what's going to happen with that, but I did want to speak about one more strategic thing. All right. So as for the strategy, the stuff that we work on, I wanted to talk about poly and pyramid. All right. It's a play that we have. All right. That's actually 2 different plays that we have. All right, and poly and pyramid, when you work on it together, it's fairly unbeatable, especially at the younger ages, but like high school as well. All right, and I think even in the NBA, they will run this set out of timeouts. All right, both of these sets actually for Poly, that's our Iverson cut, and we have not ran that enough. But I would love for this guy right here to be one of our best players. All right, to be one of our scoring players who they can't guard. Okay, because after a while we'll have like some kids just step it up so much that you have to double team the kid. But if they're the primary ball handler, you can't really do that much with them, because now you can just triple team them off the bat. They pass it one time and it's just done. Right? But you can do something with them off the ball. I think that our best off the ball play will be this Iverson cut. All right. So if we have a player right here setting a screen, a player right there with the ball in his hand. All right. All we need is for him to dribble out to the lane line, leave him with a lot of room so he can decide, step down and then come over the screen. All right. And as he goes over the screen, he wants to read it. So there's a lot of things he can do. He can snap back. He can go to it, catch the ball for either a layup, a spin move, a fake spin, a jump shot, not catch the ball, go back door off that. All right. And it's basically just an unstoppable play, because it's an unstoppable play in that we are creating a one-on-one situation where you have the advantage. So if you put, like, let's say like me versus, I don't know, Steph Curry, one-on-one, will I have a chance? Not that much of a chance. Not that much of a chance. But what if you gave him the advantage, the slight advantage? Well, then I would say that my not so much of a chance goes down to 0 of a chance. All right? So I end up going, oh, now I have no chance. We put you, who should already have the advantage over them one-on-one, in a slightly more advantageous role. All right, so you go from this side to that side. For the other people out there, we would leave that side open since he's coming to that side, but we would cut this guy through and he'll be out there. So as he goes through this, he has this entire side wide open. All right, as for our other play, it would be if he passes the ball, R dribbles him out and he cuts through. Now we have someone screening across. So all these people who were like in help side maybe, all right, now your man has to help right there. If your man helps right there, we're going to set the screen down. He comes up right there. All right, and with those two plays together, no matter how they guard us, we're going to be able to score. All right, and a lot of our players are like that. We want plays, and I've said it many, many times. We want plays in that it doesn't just beat the team when they do stuff wrong. It also beats them when they do stuff right. And the two biggest teams in college that I faced that were like that were Utah and Gonzaga. I mean, even if you did everything perfect, they knew it because they knew their opponent. It's like you have two choices. Either you're dumb and you can do something bad and they're going to beat you because you did it the wrong way, or you're going to do it the perfect way and they expected you to do it the perfect way, and the whole play is designed to beat the perfect way. So you're just stuck with like, well, what do I do? What do I do? Right? So that's why I like these plays. And once we get back into our offense, let's try to perfect them. Because once you perfect plays, that's just the next step, right? First, you have to learn how to play basketball. Then you have to learn how to be patient. Then you have to learn how to run a play. Then you have to learn how to run the play perfectly. Then after that, you just play basketball. And you don't even need plays. All right? And like I just said, once you know the team in and out, so if they're a bad team or a good team, you can beat them either way. Now, you know your opponent. All right? And if you know your opponent well enough, you know them better than they know themselves even. And you know your own personnel as well. And you know yourself as well. You know so much knowledge. That's called having a basketball IQ, and that's when you can dominate. So don't forget the quote of the day is to know your opponent. Don't forget that that we have practice, our workout again tomorrow. We're going to find out our schedule the day after that. Oh, no, probably Wednesday night or maybe Thursday morning. We're going to find out our schedule for not only this weekend, but for all the following weekends as well. So since we had so many games this last weekend, I don't know what they're going to do this weekend for us. Maybe have fewer games. I'm not really sure. But we're the team that will take over over the spot for any other team as well. So heads up for the schedules. Anyway, that's my time. I'll talk to y'all later. Great job, everybody, whoever happens to watch this show. I keep working, you guys. Talk to y'all later. Peace.